All right, everybody. Well, we're going to start right on time because I've got a really weird schedule today, and Bob is going to take over this training shortly after he gets on and everything. But really quick, just wanted to start this meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. No, I'm just kidding. I know Cindy and her office are watching. They were trying to stump me and Bob the other day. I thought that was really funny after the fact when I thought about it. But anyway, um, glad to have you guys aboard. Hey, today, we're going to go over three different Century 21 centric products. We're going to be going over the Real Satisfied. We're going to go over the Golden Ruler, and I believe the third was, I think he was just going to go over 21 Online, the Century 21 University portion, and how to negotiate around it. They're supposed to be revamping that portion of the website. It is a little bit difficult to schedule an appointment, so hopefully they're going to be revamping that a little bit. But let's get started really quick. Like all times, we're going to be, getting started on 21online.com. A lot of people go to century21.com, things like that, but it's 21online.com is where we're going to go, and you'll see this lady on the start page. You're going to sign in with your username, which is your first name dot your last name at century21.com. And they are going to have a two-factor authentication always. The Okta Verify is really cool if you've got a lot of like two-factor authentications. You can add your username, password, and the authentication location on there. But the only thing is, if you ever forget your password or it changes, it's very difficult to undo that. So I would just stick with the text two-factor authentication. So I'm going to be going over the real satisfied portion of the of this meeting. And right now, you're going to be at at the start page for 21 Online. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the hamburger menu right here, which they call it the hamburger menu because there's a bun on top, the meat in the middle and another bun on the bottom. And it follows you no matter where you go. So that hamburger will always be there on the menu. We are going to go to the Productivity Hub, which is where all the tools are located in alphabetical order. And we're going to go to Real Satisfied. So we're going to look for our R's. And then we're going to hit go to Real Satisfied. If you'd like to continue to go to Real Satisfied often, you can always check the heart right here and it'll add it to the favorites on the other side. So the most used and common things that you want to work with are going to be in your favorites, and the favorites menu will also stay there, just like how the hamburger menu stays there. Okay. And I'm going to start booking on this thing because my portion of this meeting's pretty small, but it's very important as well. So Real Satisfied is what Century 21 uses to get their reviews for your real estate agents. This home page will kind of show you how many testimonials you've sent out, how many more you need to work out with, what your rankings are and your percentages are. And you can see that I've only had a little bit of activity this year and everything, but you can also look back on your information. If you're kind of curious about what's on your profile, you can always go up to the top right-hand corner and it will show you what your profile page looks like facing the clients. Okay, so I wanted to show that to you really quickly. So this is what the client sees when they go to Real Satisfied. They're going to see your photo, your information. There's a bio location. They have the means to call you, the different types of social media links that you have. And I'll show you guys where this is all located at and everything. Um, oh man, I gotta take this phone call. I'll be right back, guys. Hey, Patty. Yeah, I'm right on Zoom, but is it something? Okay, I'll call you right back. Oh, good, good, good. Okay, I gotta get going. Okay, bye. Oh, that's a relief. Sorry, Patty's brother is in the hospital right now, and there's a lot of things going on, and that's kind of re the reason why I need to get this thing going pretty quickly. But some positive news this morning, so I'm really glad. So where did I leave off? All the links and everything. I'll show you how to attach those in this training very quickly. Some of your latest reviews will be on there, your experiences, specialties, certifications, all those kind of things. I'll show you where to go to, the areas that you're serving and whatnot. So we're going to go back to the previous link, and all that information you're basically going to be using these menus right here. So the next thing you want to do is go to your profile. And this is where you can upload your photo if you have one differently than you have in, like, let's say, in Dash, which is what Century 21 uses to distribute your photo to all the different locations that you should be marketing in. You really do want to kind of keep the same photograph in all your marketing. So if you have, like, something for Instagram, like your splash page, you really want to keep it consistent. Google My Business, wherever you're at. The social media link is what's really important because that's where your real satisfied is going to be distributed to. By default, these will all be in gray. So what you want to do is you want to click on them and they will give you a link where you can drop that in there and have that connected to all your leads. Like I don't have a Twitter uh, uh, account. So if you happen to be on Twitter or anything like that, go to your account, go to your start page, whatever shows up in the portion of your browser right there, you want to copy and paste that into here and then hit save. And that will illuminate those locations and it'll also connect your Real Satisfied to those locations as well. Um, One that Bob wanted me to hit on is that everybody has a Zillow profile and everyone has a Realtor.com profile. I think it's that one right there. So you want to make sure that you go to those sites, look yourself up, and then update that information so it's the most accurate. You guys over at the Cindy Fernandez team, you guys are probably going to have to go to those locations, have your logos and your colors and your phone numbers and emails changed from the KW centric stuff to the Century 21 centric stuff. So you guys got a little bit of work to do, but it'll get done. You guys are going to be in the right spot. And Cindy's a social media expert, so I'm sure she'll point you in the right direction. Anytime you need to make a correction in anything, you can always hit the pencil mark. If your name's not spelled correctly, or if you have like a short name, like mine's Mitsuo, but I go by Mitz. So, you can make those corrections in there. If there are information for your license number, email addresses, just hit the pencil marks. Same about all your bio information. You can hit the pencil mark and then make corrections to whatever your bios are about. So, I need to put in some photographs, so that's probably what I'll have to do, hit the pencil mark and add some photographs or maybe a YouTube video or something like that. But go to each one of these boxes and see if you can fill out that information as best as possible. And what you might want to do is maybe go back to the Century 21 Jordan Link website and then maybe peruse through some of the videos that Bob's done about using AI. And that will help you, maybe jazz up your bio a little bit. I've actually used AI quite a bit to just, give myself a little bit more correct grammar and spelling and kind of just make sure everything's just so I would definitely go through there and go through each one of these categories and make those changes. So okay, areas served, you always want to have the zip codes and maybe like the counties and locations, so that's also available through the pencil mark. Now, the surveys themselves, as soon as you sell a property, I think the contact, they have one per sales transaction will go into this category. So you'll see, if it's been sent out, like these guys we just closed on, so we're waiting for a response. And if they, let's say it's been a while and they haven't responded, you can hit the three dots here and just resend the request to, take their survey. The survey's a little bit long compared to like Google My Business or even like the Zillow questionnaire. I think I'm not 100% sure because I've never received one, but I think there's almost like 21 questions that they ask you about your level of service, level of knowledge, things like that. So, where actually a good class might be to send ourselves one somehow and to get that done. But definitely go through these reviews and make sure that, you go back and take a look at them every once in a while. The next thing that I want to go over really quickly, and if Bob's on, if you want to jump in on anything, Bob, just come let me know. I'm not actually even sure if he's on yet, but uh,
Go back to surveys real quick.
okay.
And then anybody that's on the call, what you should do is you should be looking at your surveys to figure out why do we still have pendings?
Mhm.
36. I mean, because surveys are like testimonials on Google. They're super important. But the one that you want to make sure you keep an eye on is the one all the way on the end that says action required. That means there was something wrong with those five surveys going out. So Mitch, click on the five
Yeah, usually they're like
and
email
then see it's
blasts.
missing details. So
Mm-hmm.
hit the three dots and it's going to tell you, let's resolve that issue. And
Mm-hmm.
what it's saying on here is, look, it's missing the email address.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's a good idea if you haven't done it and you have some of them or several months back, good way to call the client, can reconnect with the client. Hey, how's everything going? Hey, by the way, I totally forgot your email address. I need to send a survey. Would you mind doing it for me? And resend a survey, but it gives you a good chance just to reconnect with the client. So
Correct.
that's super important too. If you're missing the detail, that's how you would figure out, hey, how come it's not didn't go out? That's where you would go.
Yeah, these two right here are repeat customers. I actually sold and sold their properties and sold them another property. So I don't think well, I guess I could ask for a second testimonial, but anyway, we'll see what we can do. Um, the testimonials themselves are right here, so you can read the comments. The really cool thing that Bob showed me was that on the download, you can actually download them as an image and then like post them up onto your Google My Business, which we are going over this coming Monday at 9 o'clock, right, Bob?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So that's definitely a cool, I think that's like a next level kind of thing because it's hard to get these real satisfied into your Google My Business. But if you can download these things into images, then you can just add them as photos and people that visit your Google My Business will be able to see that, which is, I think, genius. I think this is the last time you talked about Real Satisfied that you told us about that, right,
Can
Bob?
you go ahead and download one?
Sure.
Yep.
And
There you
that's
go.
that's what it
And then
looks
that you can also put onto social media to your TikTok, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram.
like.
Ideal. So you can decide what layout you want and you save it. And now you got your testimonials you can post. Because, like we're going to talk about Monday on Google My Business, the important thing is being consistent, but images get indexed just like data. So,
Yep.
Google, when you post an image and it comes across your image, it recognizes every verbiage that's on that survey. So, it's reading, Mitch is great, recommended him, continue to do. So it's reading all that data. So it's cataloging Mitz's review just as if somebody gave him a Google review. So it's super important.
Yeah.
Whenever you get a survey, definitely want to share.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think we kind of went over where the items how to connect your accounts, but this is actually how you turn on where those accounts where your Google reviews will be shown in. So we've got these checked off for Facebook and Realtor.com, Zillow, Google reviews. Now, I'm not sure where that goes, but anyway. And then last but not least, the settings. I think this is just to control where it automatically goes to, right, Bob? How to change your password.
Yes. So Cindy, your question was, when Mitch was showing his profile and the social media links that he was showing for Twitter and etc., that'll show up on your profile so people can visit your profile. The publishing part is where it publishes to. So they're two different things. So one is like, so on his profile, I'll have those URLs so somebody can check out his Instagram account. Somebody can go to his LinkedIn account and see it. The other one is where it publishes it. So there's two steps because you have to actually connect Facebook to your Real Satisfied and follow the steps to connect them. The other one, just the URL to your accounts. Hopefully that makes sense.
Oh, how cool. I wonder how that works, Bob, this website widget.
So what you do is go to website widget.
Hmm.
And so let's say you're going to create a new one, and some of you that have it
Oh,
don't have one. So create one
um,
in the green, says create.
I got you.
There you go. Then what you're going to do is give it a name because maybe you're going to create several. So you have to decide, is it going to be a slider, widget type, or is it going to be a carousel, list, or a grid? So let's say grid.
Oh, grid? Okay.
Carousel, so it's going to be a grid.
Okay.
Okay, then you decide how many max reviews to show. Do you want a header, footer to display, background, what color? Do you want to display all ratings? Display ratings to display
Oh man.
automatic. And then so what'll happen is once you go to the settings, it displays this. So if you scroll back up again real quick, okay, go to the bottom then. And it says save widget. Once you decide the layout, you
Oh,
copy this
wow.
code and then you can embed that anywhere on your Moxie website. That widget will show up and show your reviews.
Oh, that's Bob. I actually have the Real Satisfied page saved in my website. So that would be way cooler because it's more
Yep. So,
interactive.
and the cool thing about the widget is every time you get new reviews, that'll automatically show up on your website to showcase. So what happens is the reason there's several versions because you may want a grid layout for a page by itself, and you
Hmm.
may want the carousel to show up on your home page in a single row. So it all depends on how you want the layout.
Got it. Oh, good. Good to know.
Yes.
Anything else you want to go over, Bob?
No, that was it. Just to go over, the basics. Most people have to go through these accounts anyway and step by step and just go through it. But at least a good overview, it just kind of helps them like, okay, this is where I got to go. And if they have questions, they could always reach out to you and me and we can help them out. So not a big deal.
All right. Excellent. Well, I'm going to hand this over to Bob and I'm going
Okay.
to stop sharing and get Bob on there. Let's see,
So
participant.
I am going to share my screen. Hang on real quick. Let me figure out what desktop I'm on.
Do I
Mhm.
need to make you go a co-host? Oh, no, you're already there. Okay,
No, I
awesome.
already took care of that one. So,
Okay.
okay. So what we're going to do is the reason we wanted to do this overview because we've got a lot of agents coming on board. So we wanted to go over overview. One of the things I did want to talk about is the Century 21 University. It has so much educational and learning stuff. And then we're going to go over the third thing is the golden ruler. So those of you that are getting listings, like Cindy or anybody else that's looking to get more listings, then the golden ruler is a great tool to keep your seller up to date on what's happening with your transaction, how many views it's getting. So right now, the Century 21 University, there's two ways to do it. You can go to the menu and go down to Learning Hub right here on the right-hand side, or technically you can just type in the URL century21university.com. It'll actually route you to anywhere learning.edcast. So if you typed in century21university.com, you hit enter, it's going to land you right here. If you're already logged into your 21 Online account, then just hit login with single sign-on. So it's going to recognize that you already logged into 21 Online and that you're already signed in. So you don't have to log in with credentials. So you just go log in with the SSO and it recognizes that you're already signed into the platform and it takes you to your learning library. So this is where it's really cool because if you're looking at doing leadership learning, you go into explore these classes. If you are looking to do recruiting and retention coaching, you go into this section. If you want to learn more about working with buyers or listings, you go into those learning sections. Then right here in the middle is always a different class of the month. Every month there's a specific class that Century 21 is teaching. This is where you would find that information. Then this one, new to the business, is where typically I would send all the brand new agents says, hey, you need to go to new in the business because this is your brand spanking new. And this is where it's going to teach you. Once you get to a certain income level of consistency, then I would tell them to go to new to Century 21, but inconsistent income. That means you're new, but you're already a real estate agent, but you don't have your income consistent. That means you don't have all your ducks in a row. So sometimes you got transactions, sometimes you don't. So this training pathway, excuse me, will help somebody get a little bit more consistent. So let's go. We're going to skip the recruiting, learning, buy or sell listing. We're going to look at class of the month because every month they have a specific class. So this month, class of the month was Watch Party Toolkit. Here is C21 class of the month. If I open it, what it's going to do is it's going to show you this class of the month watch party, blah, 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 class of the month party toolkit. And oh, the class has already ended. So no one is showing me that one. So we're going to skip that one. But if I was to hit open content, it's going to show me the content that's available for this particular system and what it talked about. So July, August 5th, welcome to the fifth season. That is what the training is going to be on the 19th. And basically it's saying, hey, of course, yes, there's seasons, but your fifth season is the one that you ramp up during the holidays. So they're doing a training there. September 16th will be lead generation, working with your sphere of influence. October will be pipeline. How do you work your pipeline? A lot of people have a pipeline, but they just don't know how to work their pipeline. This will give them an understanding. November will be owning objections. How do you learn that? And of course, December, they always do the business planning. It says, okay, how do I plan 2026? Because you want to go into 2026 with an idea of what you want, what your end goal is, what is your income goal, and then set up a plan. So this is where all of this information comes in. If we go back to the beginning and we go to new to the business, go right here. It says, hey, there's an onboarding video. So brand new agent, you'll watch this video. This is Wendy Crane. Wendy Crane. She's the vice president of learning, an amazing lady. So if you ever get a chance to go to the 121, you will run into her. She's awesome. Then what it's going to says, hey, okay, this is your homepage. If you're looking at foundation of excellence, that is where you're going to find this training. If you're looking at business building, this is where it'll have this training. And if you notice, most of the business training has to do with your Moxi. Um, if you're challenging the status quo, leveling up with listings, you go to that tab, it's going to have different type of training. Persuasive selling with Adam West. He's the one that's doing that. Seller strategies, owning objections, Moxi present, price positioning, all has to deal with leveling up your listings. So it all depends on what you're looking for. Most people, I tell them, you're going to start at the home and you're going to work your way through. So this is how you would go in, and it has different classes. You're going to learn about Power Up, the 3-2-1 program that they're doing. Then they have Goal Projector, My Best Day Ever, and then you got your business building, which is your Moxie websites, two classes, 101. And so the 101, if I click on that one for brand new agents or somebody that hasn't set up their website, this is going to walk you through on how to set up your website, how to activate it, how to go through the process, undoing that part. Then the Moxie 201, once you finish that one, if you go into Moxie Websites 201 is how to maximize the potential. Then it goes into, of course, Moxie Engage. But let's say you come in here and you want to learn all the Moxie tools first without having to go through all of this and say, you know what? Then just go into the top search bar and just type in MoxieWorks. And so basically, you're just looking for any tools related to Moxie because I need to learn that. So it's going to show you basically all the different trainings just related to Moxie. So it helps you filter the search out better. So this will give you an overview. Welcome to MoxieWorks Roadmap. If you're looking at support, this is where you would go. This is an interactive experience. This talks about the different tools. This talks about the MoxieWorks Hub and what does it look like. This is a roadmap. This is the MoxieWorks sales cycle. Most people have never seen it, but this is actually a really cool graphics. And let me see if I can open it a little bit better. Boom, 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 boom. Let me download it. Pop-up, pop-up blocked. Okay, that's great. Worry about that a little bit. So basically what this one is showing you is, let me get out of here. Right here. If you're working with sphere of influence, internet leads, farming, for sale by owner, expired listings, open houses, social media, the three tools you should be working on is Moxie Engage, website, and present. If you're lead nurturing, it should be your website and Engage because it's your CRM. and getting people to your website. If it's regarding lead conversion, it's engage and present. I need to do a presentation. I need to engage with them. And so this shows you through a cycle, if you're in escrow, you should be using engage with your leads, putting on drip campaigns, communication, neighborhood news, whatever you need to do. Post closing, it should be your website and engage. So it's kind of giving you an idea of if I'm at a certain process through in the cycle of a lead, which tools should I be using, which kind of helps out. So then if I go back here, back to the landing page, you got Learning Hub, cycle, overview of the suite, and then of course, understanding your profile. How do I do it? Lead generation, how to use the tools to generate leads, getting started, your productivity suites, and everything's broken down into here. So if you're looking at present, see, adding presentations from Moxi Engage, you learn here. So, and then there's more. There's tons of training. Um, and then you got more training. Navigating the website. How do you activate the website? How do I personalize the homepage? How do I do property search on the website? Um, Moxie website 201. Oh, there's a recording. I can watch that video and it's pre-recorded, so I don't have to go through a webinar. So there's tons of materials on the university that most people never utilize, and I would suggest that you do utilize it one by one. Don't do it to where you decide, hey, I'm gonna go watch these videos all in 2 hour span because you're gonna get burnt out because it's a system or a routine you're not used to. So I would break it down to, okay, let me do one at a time, and this way I don't get overwhelmed. So if it's Moxie website 101, then or Moxie Engage 101, you do 101, and then you practice, you learn it, and then you go to 201. Then you go to 301, and then you break it down step by step. If you have learning, you'll go in the top tab if you have any learnings happening. And if you've been assigned any or you requested any learnings, they'll all show up in here. If you want to look at the calendar, you click on the calendar, and what it's going to show you is what's happening. These are all these different classes that are happening. So today is the 14th. There's an Accelerate at 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is 3 o'clock California time. Okay, you're like, okay, let me see what else is available that I could potentially join. And then you decide which ones you want, and then you open them up and then you join. So let's say you're looking at Moxie Impress for C21 agents on Thursday because you're like, hey, that's at 11 o'clock Pacific time and I have free time. So basically you can click on this event and it'll open up and you can says, I want to request to sign up for it. So now you're actually signed up for this particular class, and then you can come back here and launch it. So that's basically how you sign up for Moxie Impress. Mine shows assign because of my admin role, so I could actually go in and assign these to specific agents to get them to hopefully watch that class. But this is where you go through all the different learnings based on your schedule, based on your availability. That says, okay, could I pick up a training, one or two here and there that I need? This is where everything is. Owning your value, goal setting, everything. Then if we go back to transcripts right after calendar, is if there's any trainings that you've already attended, the transcripts would be available. So I have already attended certain trainings, so I can go to Moxie Impress for Agents, which was done. I can see the transcripts right here. Or if it's Introduction to AI for Real Estate, I can actually go in here and say view the training details. And it'll actually show me if there's any information. It's a 0 version, so it actually hasn't been set up. It's only 1 minute long, so not good on that one. So let's skip that one. Where are you? Transcripts. So if it's a class that you've already attended that happened, you can select all the transcripts or classes in here. View transcript, archive transcripts. So that's what that is. Then we're going to go to, let me get rid of some of this stuff. Get it here. And then broker reports, which is for me. So this is basically just a quick overview of what kind of training that you can find. Is there any questions in chat? Because I did disable everybody so we don't get interrupted. There is, please put it in the chat and let me know. So we are going to stay connected. And the other tool we're going to talk about today is the golden ruler, which if we go to Productivity Hub and we go down to the golden ruler, so T, it's down here. Remember, all of these apps that are here, all your different tools, if you select the heart right next to it, add to favorites, it will add it to this favorite bookmark that is always floating in 21online.com. Anywhere you go, this favorite's always sitting there. So anytime you've actually tagged any of these, so I'm going to go back. See, right now you don't see golden ruler. So then I would go in and say, you know what, I need to add that as a favorite. Well, what it'll do is it'll show up in here, golden ruler, and I can just go from here, click on it, and just get straight to golden ruler without having going through the menu. So I can click golden ruler, and basically it'll take me right here. So those of you that are going out have listings, highly recommended that what you do is we're going to find this one's not set up, but North Palm Avenue. So let's see what's going on. So if you have a listing, so we'll look at North Palm 278. It's an active listing. I can view the analytics to see what's happening. I can see that it hasn't been scheduled. So whoever has this listing hasn't scheduled it to go automatically to the seller. Okay. They can schedule the delivery of the seller report here. And on the far right-hand side, they can preview and see what the report would look like. So if I click preview on this particular report, it's at 278 North Palm. It's $1,385,000. This report is from August 22nd to now, so it's been about a year. You can see that the property's been viewed 4,900 times. There's only 3 shares. So Luis Garcia has this particular property, and you can see basically over the last 30 days how many views it's still getting, which is pretty cool because especially if Luis went in here and shared this and knew that this property was originally overpriced, it's a good statement that says, hey, Mr. Seller, we need to have a conversation because I've had almost 5,000 views and I don't have any leads. So depending on how you look at it. So if I go back to the beginning on Palm, I can view analytics right here. Right here, I can click it and this is what it's going to show me. It's going to show views are down 8%, 328 views so far. Where are they coming from? Where the pattern is, Realtor, broker agents, Realtor.com, Trilio, Zillow. You can see where they're coming, how they're fluctuating. The cool thing about it here, it shows a heat map. It's showing a heat map of where the most heat that you see is where most of the views are coming from. So if I zoom, I don't want to scroll. I can see a lighter in Manteca, more red in Fremont. There's a lot of views coming from the Fremont area, but I could also hit map list in the top right hand corner right there and decide that I want to look at this in a list view. So now it's just showing me 1 and 2 currently over the last 30 days. Or I can go back and say, you know what, I need to see a custom date range. And you can decide I want to go back to January 1st to today and apply. And then you see that even over the last year, it hasn't been getting a lot of traction, but it actually has because look at the amount of different cities it's getting views from. So it almost had 23 different cities, but each city has so many different views. So this is where you can get that information. And if anybody shared or favorited, you can get that data right here. So you can see there's no inquiries, no favorites, and only 1 share. So this property is getting views, she only shared once, but we got no inquiries and no leads. So sometimes that's a valuable report to have if you go into the seller says, hey, this is what we're going to talk. We had this conversation. So this is how you would check the report to see how that particular property is doing. Right here, you can also see seller report. Send a report to the seller. So you can schedule it by hitting schedule the report. And then it says, okay, it's coming from Luis Garcia. This is the client. This is the email that I'm going to put in for the client who it's sending to. If I want to CC, BCC anybody, and also if they reply back to me, which is the realtor, Luis, this is the email subject line. Also CC the agent. This is your sales activity on your property this week because you can set it up weekly. This is quick verbiage, nothing big, nothing, if you can change it, whatever you want to change it to. Right here, you can decide if I want a reporting period for the top 10 websites, life of the listing, prior 30 days, or prior 7 days. So what you're basically saying is if I'm looking for a report on which were the top websites that this listing got views on, show it to me only what those websites were for the last 7 days prior or for the life. Me, I would select for the life from day 1 to day 2. And then right here, include lead metrics when listing has 1 or more leads. You can check that. You can say always include lead metrics, even if no leads have been captured. So basically, if you do that, it'll show on the report leads 0. Sometimes that's good. I'm not going to wait only to show it if I only got 1 lead. I'm like, if it's getting 0, I need the client to know that, hey, we got 5,000 views and we got 0 leads. So it depends on how you want to do it, or never include the lead metrics. It's that all up to you on how you want to set that up. Then at the bottom, it says, hey, delivery on this particular report is off. You can say, hey, I want the client to get this thing weekly. I want the seller to know because when I got the listing, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to keep you up to date on how your listing's doing. And you and I will have a conversation in the next week or two, once we do the open house and see the traction on making sure we got the home price right, especially if they wanted to overprice it. It's a good way to come back and says, hey, we've already got an X amount of views and we got no leads. We got to look at a price adjustment. We talked about this conversation when I took the listing that we should price it at X amount of dollars. I think we need to go there before we lose the buyers. Okay. Whichever way you have this, how you want to say it. So you set it up weekly, or you can say, I want them to get it every 2 weeks, or I want them to get it every month. I probably myself would not do every month because especially if it's a property you need to sell, I would set it up. I want them to get it every week because I'm going to get CC'd on it. So as soon as I see that email, if the client's calling me, I already seen that email on what he got, what report he got, and I already looked at it. Says, yep, the client's probably going to call me. Well, you know what? Let me just call them. This way I know that I'm communicating with them. So once you set this up, all you do is hit save. And you've already set this thing up. Right now it was off. Once you hit save, or you can says, and, so if it goes weekly and it says, and send a report today at 10 a.m. and then send it weekly. But I want it to go right now. Right now, okay, I'm gonna have a conversation with the seller. I'm setting you up on this, so you're gonna do it. So this is how you can also send it weekly and send it now. Okay, so that's where you send that report. There's report options on the far right. Got his name, associate broker. He can upload his picture. Can say, I don't want the office number. You can remove it. Maybe there's a different number he wants to include. This is my cell phone. This is my email. And this is my website address. And then I need to save my profile just in case you need to update your profile on that report going now. So like Cindy and her team, she has a different office number that would go technically right here. And then whatever website they decide that they're going to put in here, that's the website address that would go here on that report. Okay, so that's where you adjust your report right here and your preview. And then that's basically it on the golden ruler. So I'm going to mute everybody just in case somebody has any questions. Where did I mute? Does anybody have any questions? Cindy, you're awfully quiet today. What's up? Nobody has any questions because what we wanted to do is I told Miss we wanted to do this training where we keep it short and simple, but we go over all the basics. And then of course when agents go in, like, oh, I got a question, they can reach out to me or Mitch, and then we can get on Zoom or something and just go over that training. So it's a little bit more personal to whatever everybody wants to learn. One of the things I do want to mention is most of you know how AI is evolving. And the landscape on AI is changing every day. So we're going to do a Monday, I'm going to do a training on Google My Business and how to optimize it and how can you get content and how are you going to get your Google listing. And the main thing with a Google listing, and just like this and just like Engage, is consistency. If you have a Google My Business and you're not consistently adding a post, consistently adding a picture, adding a video, getting a review, replying to review, but you do it all at once and then nothing for 3 months, you're never going to rank. Because Google says, hey, Cindy Fernandez, why should I send my customers to you if you can't even manage your profile consistently? Because it's thinking like a human. Just like we would, why would I give a lead to an agent that never shows up to the office, only randomly, or never comes to training, only randomly? So Google thinks the same way. So you have to say, okay, if I have a business that as like a storefront, I should be managing that several times a week. So Google's the same way. And reviews, reviews, reviews are key, and photos and videos. That's why last week when we talked about Brand Studio, pictures, images, and in Brand Studio, remember you can do videos in the Creative Builder. You create those, download those one by one, and says, okay, I got 10 of these. I'm going to post one every 5 days. I'm going to add it into my Google profile every 3 to 5 days. So what Google says, wow, thank you. You are now being very consistent and managing your business. I am going to start ranking you up higher. And as people come in, I'm going to start sending them your information when they do an AI search. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. But we're going to break it down on Monday, and then I'm going to go through, build the GPT machine for all of you guys that you just punch in your information. It's going to help you create all your Google content. Then FYI, Friday, my Moxi account, I'm having trouble getting into my website because I have a test account not working. So right now I'm building Cindy's website. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually walk people through on how to take her website. I'm going to convert it to a template, and everybody in Jordan Link can take that layout, make it their own website step by step. So I'll go into Cindy's account, into one of her agents' accounts, and build their website while you guys are watching me. And then if you watch that video step by step, you can actually customize your own website to a brand new look and feel. So we're going to be doing that on either Thursday or Friday next week. I'll send the emails out. So anybody have any questions on this so far before we exit? No? So if anybody needs help, you guys all have my number, or you all know how to get a hold of me. Reach out, and we will see you Monday morning at 9 a.m. on Google My Business Training. You guys have a great day.